And here we go again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit that subscribe button. Please check us out, BWTMOnline.com. Check us out, BWTMOnline.com. You'll see we don't just do sport. We cover community, health and fitness, news, entertainment, music, culture, community. We've got events coming up. Check us out. See what we do. See what we're about. And I hope you enjoy it. And of course, subscribe to this channel, BWTM Online. This is where it's all happening for us. I'm going to try and get my YouTube channel sorted here because at the moment, I can't see anybody in the room. Although I know people in the room, somehow or the other.
This is where it's all happening.
There we go now. Good. Let's see if I can get the chat up as well. For some bizarre reason, the chat's not showing here. And that's not helpful. Let's see if I can get this chat up and we can get talking. Because I'm sure there'll be lots of things to... Here we go. Great. Back to the default view. Okay. So, there are so many things to talk about this fight. But before I do go into the fight and talk about the fight itself, well, I want to talk and say congratulations to Joyce. Professional performance for himself, stopping Bermane Stiverne after what, 7 fights? It was his 8th fight.
Congratulations.
He did a very good job taking his licks on the way as Joyce, for all of his punching power and his boxing ability, his defense is on the, let's say, leaky side, and he did ship some big shots from Stiverne, and Stiverne can punch. So Joyce didn't mind mixing it up and standing in front of Stiverne. And one thing I liked about what I saw about Joyce up close was he has a mean streak about him. He might be nice and well-spoken outside the ring, but I was able to look up very close at Joyce, and he has a nastiness. He has a real mean streak about him that you need in this sport of boxing. So you'll only know those things if you see a guy up close when he's throwing punches, and he was in there and Stiverne learning good shots and things you see from the camp that the TV may not show you, that when you're ringside, you'll see those things you see in the guy's eyes. So shout out to Joyce. A lot of things, people say a lot of negative things about Joyce, but he was all about the business Saturday night. And in his 8th pro fight, he fights and beats a former world champion who still had a punch about him. Regardless, a lot of people said, well, Stiverne wasn't in great shape. Well, he went 6 rounds. He got dropped by Joyce. He got out and continued to fight. A lot of guys who would have got dropped by Joyce there at that point in that round would have got up to win. And on the point of a lot of people saying, well, Stiverne wasn't in great shape. Look, he didn't look athletically great. Stiverne will never look athletically great. He was his heaviest ever, even though, I saw the weights in his room. He had about 10 pounds of weight in his room. But, I have to give, Stiverne, a man who's able to get off the deck after being dropped by Joyce. And this is a guy that was not, you saw what he did to Joe Hanks. You've seen what he's done to other fighters. For him to get off the deck, Stiverne, and still fight back against Joyce when his own head was being knocked around the ring, that takes a level of fitness. And it takes a level of fitness. Yes, Stiverne wasn't as maybe people would like to see him lose more weight. But if Stiverne had lost more weight, the question would have been, would he have been able to ship the sort of punches that he took against Joyce? What is fitness? And, I've got all these people over Twitter now who understand what it takes to get into fighting shape. Look, the guy, Stiverne is what, he's 40 years old. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for Stiverne. Would I like to see him coming lighter? Yeah, I'd love to see him come lighter, because if you're lighter, then, you're able to get yourself out of the way of punches and you're able to deliver on a lot quicker. Having said that, and it's always well and good to say that, Stiverne, having fought Wilder, being knocked out by Wilder in a round, comes back and fights Joyce. And a lot of people in the UK rate Joyce very highly. So you got to have it one way or the other. Stiverne comes off a beating from Wilder and comes straight back in against a top-rated fighter. I think it says a lot about the man. So, I think, could he have been in better shape? Possibly. But people would like to see him do more. Right. So that's the end of that conversation. Congratulations to Joyce. Personally, Sam Jones, I'm sure you're listening. Go for the Manwar Shah fight next. Make that your next fight. Get Manwar Shah in the ring. In your ninth pro fight, you become heavyweight champion of the world. It was good enough for David Haye to become heavyweight champion of the world with that WBA belt. Let him. A lot of people slag Stiverne off. I will add this point. Many of those people are slagging Stiverne off. A lot of them will never be heavyweight champion of the world. And regardless of what they say, this man has become heavyweight champion of the world. 40 years old, heavyweight champion of the world. Accomplished his dream. Many fighters, many fighters. Probably more skilled than Stiverne. Never went on to be world champion. That's, I guess, maybe say the luck of the draw, however you want to look at it. Now, what I really want to talk to boxing fans about, and those who want to know more about the game of boxing or the sport of boxing and the behind the scenes, well, hey, this is another exclusive I can share with you about the boxing world that you may or may not know about. Now, as you know, or may not have known, Stiverne arrived, and he arrived on the Saturday, and I met him on the Sunday night, went to his hotel room, met team up. Again, before I continue, massive shout out to Don King Productions, Teddy, and Charles and Carl. So those guys I want to give a massive shout out to. And of course, the man, I can't remember his name again, who did pad work with Stiverne. Shout out to you guys. You made it possible. I repeat, you made it possible for me to be able to get the exclusive and talk to people about things. So yeah, this conversation now, we've gone beyond this conversation is not about now the fight. I've said my piece about the fight. I want to talk about the behind the scenes and stuff you wouldn't know about, you won't read about, and nobody will tell you about. But I'm going to talk to you about it. So when I tell you that I was with Bermane Stiverne for a week, let me wind the clock right back. People who are on my Instagram page would have heard this story already. And I'm going to take you right back to 2013 in Grenada, at the time, the Caribbean. And there was a radio show for those of you really avid boxing fans who knew about ATG Radio. You all remember ATG Radio? If you did, then you'll understand what I'm talking about here. ATG Radio with my man, Frank Stay, and Tim Kugis. I was a guest a few times in this show, and also they were on our on BWTM, this same channel as well. Did lots and lots of talk, and they were great. I think the best radio station for boxing. They had every fighter in the world on there. At one point, they had Bright Jennings and Wilder going at it. You had Steve Cunningham going at it with one of the guys there. Lots of stuff. Great channel, great shows. ATG Radio. If you ever get a chance, check it out and listen to it. I'm just going to shut the chat section up now because people are going on about stuff that just irrelevant to what I'm actually talking about. So I'm just going to shut this chat for a second so I can tell you what's going on so I don't get distracted. Okay, so I was with Stiverne. 2013, I want you to check the timeline of this so you understand. 2013, pretty much BWTM which is Bay Laureate TV at the time, is in its infancy, its first year, to be honest, in terms of boxing. And Bermane Stiverne, who is a top-ranked contender, is going to fight Areola. So I get to do an interview with Stiverne, and that's where the relationship began. Spool forward, Stiverne becomes heavyweight champion of the world, first Asian fighter to become heavyweight champion of the world. We spool forward to Froch versus Groves. Stiverne is in the country, and I meet him at the presser for Froch versus Groves 2. At that time, the rumors were going around that Stiverne was going to make his first defense of the title against David Haye. As we all know, that didn't happen. He fought Deontay Wilder. And again, we were the station that started covering Stiverne a lot on what Stiverne was saying and what Stiverne was doing. In fact, what Stiverne was saying at the time caught Wilder's attention. And of course, we all know what happened with Wilder Stiverne. When Stiverne was in hospital because of the dehydration, which was genuine, again, myself was there finding out what happened with him, the comeback fight, Derek Rossi fight, so on and forth, so forth. So you build a relationship with somebody over years and time. A lot of people in the sport are not interested about relationships. As a former fighter myself, I value what a fighter brings to the ring, regardless of their talent and their ability. I value. Now, this man, Stiverne, all the news, the latest fights, stuff that was going on, I'd get insight with, and I'm thankful to that. So when Stiverne said, you know what, I'm coming to the UK to fight Joyce, it was, let me tell you, it was an adventure, a week, and it was something that I tell you now, it opened my eyes. That was a learning experience. So like I said, we're there to 2019 now. He's in the country, and basically I'm going everywhere with Stiverne. Literally, I'm in his hotel room till what? I'm in his hotel room until he, basically goes off to sleep. So I'm talking to him. We're talking about all sorts of things. He's sitting down, telling me a story, how he got into boxing, watching on the big screen in his hotel room, the stuff he's done in Haiti, all by himself, setting up a boxing academy for the young people in Haiti. Told me about how he picked all the gumshoes up and all the gear, didn't wait for no sponsorship, and invested in those young people in Haiti. So it's not just a boxing gym he's got there. He's got a school for them as well, for the young people of Haiti. Lots of poverty out there. Talked about the different things in Haiti, the dangerous areas in Haiti, and such a great insight. So you meeting Stiverne, the man, not the boxer. Now, of course, he's here to box, but you're understanding more of the man, what makes the man tick. You're in their room, you see things like the shorts that you would see on TV, his shorts, negotiations going on. I mean, like, I didn't go to the press conference. We had no interest in going to the press conference, but after the press conference, the weigh-in, I was literally behind him at the weigh-in. Moments after the weigh-in, I did the interview with him, as you saw then on the channel. And then after the weigh-in, we went to the fighters meeting. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal what was said at the fighters meeting, but yeah, so I got opportunity to meet Mario Ranello. I got to meet, again, shout out to Brian Custard. I got to meet Al Bernstein. So I got to see what it was like behind the scenes of what it's like at a fighters meeting, the weigh-in. What goes through a fighter's mind, a professional fighter's mind, the things that they say off camera, the way a team works, watching a guy work out in the gym just before a big fight. And of course, the whole facade about media credentials and all the rest of it. So basically on the night, I'm in the dressing room with Bermane Stiverne, watching all the fights go on, the fighters in the dressing room, preparing, watching. I'm in the same dressing room as Omar Douglas, who fought Lee Selby the same night. Saw him around the hotel every night. Saw him in a hotel room, sitting down watching Omar Douglas prepare to fight, having the big screen on in the dressing room, watching the big screen, watching Omar Douglas prepare, looking up at the screen and looking up Stiverne being announced for his fight against Joyce, and sitting next to the man. And all these, it's unreal. It's like you're watching the TV. You're watching Stiverne, and he's going to fight next, and you're like, well, you're here as a media outlet. You're also there as a friend, and then you're there as a boxing fan. See, there's so many different things are going on all at once, and obviously, if you've been backstage before and you're involved and you've got a close relationship with somebody there, it's a little different. But if you haven't, the experience is so surreal. And then you look at yourself, you look up on the TV, and then you see Stiverne walking into the arena, and then hey, you see yourself walking right next to Stiverne walking to the arena. But you don't think about those things as you enter in the arena. You're just thinking about the guy, your friend going into fight. You don't see those things, those things are blanked out. So then the moment comes where they're saying, coming up next, Stiverne versus Joyce, or Joyce versus Stiverne, and you're seeing him putting his gear on and getting into fight mode and hitting the bag or hitting the pads and recording all that stuff, which is what I will post afterwards, prepared. And then there's the ring walk in front of an arena of 20,000 people. You look to one side, you're seeing Stiverne. The light on he's standing up ready to do the ring walk. He's doing the ring walk. He starts his ring walk and the security are holding you back. And then you do the ring walk with him and you walk into the ring. And at that point, as they say, he goes and he enters the ring and the fight is what you see. Ringside, I'm next to Carl Lewis, a representative for King. So then watching him shouting and screaming, hollering to cheer Stiverne on, but knowing that Stiverne is on the end of a beating. Stuff that happens backstage, some stuff that's said afterwards. And then there's the picture of the guy the guy who is, you're a boxing fan, you are a media outlet, and then you're a friend. And you see the picture of a beaten fighter on his chair, nobody else in the room, just him and his trainer, his head laid down, you know, his eyes swollen up, he's just been stopped. And the realization that that fight now you're going to have to possibly go on to become WBA champion is gone. Did you prepare well enough? Did you give it your all? Those things go through your mind. Your eyes are swollen up. Should you have taken a warm-up fight before you fought Joyce? Was it a smart move to have done that? All these things going through your eyes are swollen up. And do you know what I did? I walked over to him and I grabbed him by the top of his braids and I pulled his head towards me and I kissed him on the top of his head and said, I love you, brother. This isn't about you being a fighter. This is about that soul-to-soul connection as brothers. And I respect you for what you do and what you've done. You've gone out there and you've given it your best shot. You came up short tonight. You know, dust yourself down. A new day awaits and you've got decisions to make. You know, and you know, he left the arena. Of course, I had to go off and do other things, and he's gone back, and I will do an interview with him afterwards. But it's an insight that I never would have got about the sport of boxing. You know, and I'm thankful to my American friends. I have to say my American friends, because without my American friends, I would never have been able to get the access that I did. In no uncertain terms, I would never have got the access that I did. And, you know, I was trying to be respectful and, you know, typical things being done. But at the end of the day, it was a great experience being out at the O2 Arena. When I went to sit down, I turned my head. I was right next to Conor Benn. So shout out to Conor Benn as well. Very respectful, very humble young man. Amazing what you see on TV or what you see on YouTube, and then you see a person. You always got to separate the boxer from the man. And very humble, very nice guy. Very, 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 very nice guy. Saw him, saw John Conte. Tony Bellew sticked his head out of Eubank's dressing room. Shout out to Melissa from Melt PR. Saw her as well. Yeah, I saw quite a lot of people. Shout out also to Dillian White's brother. I saw him twice in 2 days. So shout out to him, or like 3 times in 3 days on his Instagram. And so I include that as well. So shout out to you as well, brother. He even recognized my voice. Yeah, you didn't see my video. He recognized my voice. So shout out to you for recognizing the work that I do and we do here at BWTM Online. So I'm going to open up the chat now, but I wanted to share that with people because, you know, a lot of people I think a lot of disloyal people. As soon as a guy gets beat, they jump onto another fighter. Very disloyal people. But, you know, like I said, this isn't about views. Views are nice and great, but it's not about views. I'm beyond that thought of views. It's about being authentic. It's about, for me, building connections. And had I not built that connection with Stiverne, I couldn't, you know, and the flip side is, if I did and I treated Stiverne the way some people want me to have treated him, which was to cut him off and, oh, I got knocked out by Wilder, waste of time, blah, 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 blah. All these people that say these things, You know, there's no accountability for when people say things on YouTube. There's no accountability when people say things on Twitter. There's no accountability when people do things on Facebook or social media generally, unless they are so dumb and so stupid that they put themselves in a position where the law has to intervene. But I'm accountable for the things I say and accountable for the things I do. And so therefore, you know, I wasn't going to do those things, you know. And some people say, you're soft and all the rest of it. But no, I see somebody, I respect what they do and respect the time they've given me at the time of day when many others didn't. And it shows a testament and character to the man. He said that when I was having some issues, you know, in terms of media accreditation stuff, he says, I got you. I got you. You know what I mean? And many names would have just turned their back and said, do you know what I mean? Many names big names that we respect today, they never did half of what this man did. And that's a fact. So I'm not calling people out or slating people off. Everyone's entitled to do what they did. But this man allowed me to see another side of boxing and made me able to see whether it's a sport that I would want to get involved with at a deeper level at another time of my life. But like I said, I'm thankful to Stiverne. I'm thankful to his team. And thank you. Really appreciate everything that has happened. You didn't get the victory. And, well, that's it, really. So let's see what people say. BG London says, Stiverne shot hard. I hate when people dismiss that. Stiverne gave his all and Joyce a stiff test, but age waits for no man. I agree with you there. If Stiverne was around 225 pounds, he would have been a decent fighter. Interesting. Yes, too heavy for his height. Interesting. Joyce is slow, but strong and durable. Indeed. Indeed. So, yeah, I wanted to share that with people. So, fighters who listen in, that it's not just about views. And I'm not just another guy with a camera, or I'm not just another guy that's a media outlet. That very different. Our media outlet stands for so many different things at so many different levels. And when people do their research as to what inspired this channel and what inspired what we're doing, it's a very different outlook and direction and vision, you know. And you can just see on the channel, we don't just focus on boxing. But I wanted to say that. And to be honest, if that was the last fight that I covered in boxing, because I think the media accreditation personally thinks a load of crap. I think it is, in the UK at least. But if it's the last fight I ever covered, I'd be happy with that. Because I've done everything I want to do. Covered a big fight, seen the behind the scenes, and I really have enjoyed it all in terms of being at a fight and doing the filming and doing the coverage. It's great, and I really enjoyed it, and it was fun. The politics in boxing is a load of bull, and you know, this time I can say I celebrated because I'm thankful. I'm thankful for Don King Productions, and I have to say that I do get a lot more respect by Americans than by in America and by Americans. You think Don King's Productions allowed me to be a part of this event, and I am so, and to be called to be part of Team DK is a special moment indeed, and I'm very thankful. Very thankful. So yeah, that's it. For those of you, for fighters around the world that in the future may want coverage and want that little bit of extra love, we're here for you. You're not just another guy with a pair of gloves or girl with a pair of gloves, and that, you know, you're not just another body. You're an individual, and you have a brand, and we'll do our best to look after you. That's just a message out there for fighters. I want to put that out there as well. So if you're coming from abroad and you've got a big fight coming up, let us know. We'd love to cover you. Right. I think that's about it for me. I just wanted to give a review. Again, shout out to Joyce. Say stiff, say slow, says this, says that. Listen, my man should go and fight and more sharp. I don't care what people think about, well, it's a WBA regular title. Well, I don't listen to all that baloney. It was good enough for David Haye. It's good enough. And the other day, we're actually having this debate. It was myself and Teddy, who's a representative of one of the representatives, Don King. And we'll talk about, he said the WBA was the original belt. The WBA was the original belt, not the WBC. The BC might be the best belt, but it's not the original belt. The original belt was the WBA belt. A lot of people don't know that. So it's all good. So when people say the WBA is not a real belt, just remember the WBA was the original belt. Historically, the WBA is the original belt. The belt that Ali had, that belt, that was the original belt. So yeah, I think for now he should go down the WBA route until he can get a unification bout with either Joshua or Wilder, personally, for business sense. So yeah. Who was WBA champion when David Haye had the belt? I think it would have been Klitschko. Klitschko may have been super champion, something like that. So yeah, right. I'm done. But thank you all so much. I will post videos of backstage. If you want to know, if you want to see those backstage videos, by the way, please check out BWTM Online on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, BWTM Online. You'll see all the latest news, views, interviews, all the rest on BWTM Online. Check us out, BWTM Online on our channel page. You'll see lots of stuff, not just boxing, on the channel. So I'm out of here. It's been a late night. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is BWTM Online, and we're out. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your support.